Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. I'm smiling this morning, but it's not been a good 24 hours. I just choked as I pressed live. It seems to happen pretty frequently. What we are seeing right now is the price of Bitcoin has dropped, my LED lights have stopped working, and today has just been a total disaster. Let's talk about what's going on in the markets right now. So Bitcoin has dropped significantly off the back of a load of news, a load of bearish news, not just for the cryptocurrency markets, but for the entire economy. And I'll be talking today about the reasons we should be slightly fearful going into the next couple of months, what we should be concerned about, what we should keep an eye on, and what this means for Bitcoin on that run to the next Bitcoin halving in April 2024. We have a lot to discuss today. Let's first of all take a look at the prices and see what's going on. So we have Bitcoin first trading at $26,367, down 7.5% within the last 24 hours. And we have Ethereum set at 1,680, down 6% in the last 24 hours. So Ethereum has actually not dropped as significantly as Bitcoin, surprisingly. We'll be talking about this today. We have some more news, cryptocurrency news to discuss, and then we'll just get straight onto the price of Bitcoin. So let's just run through the headlines here. We have Grayscale announcing its hiring for its ETF team. We do still have some positive things going on in the markets. We are still seeing some companies gearing up for those ETFs and the excitement that could come at the start of next year. We are also seeing Tether is winding down USDT support on Bitcoin, Kusama, and BCH blockchains. Obviously, they get most of their transaction volumes elsewhere, so this makes sense, especially during this bearish period. We are seeing crypto firms in the UK to begin collecting information on crypto transfers by September. Regulation in the US, in the UK is increasing massively in the next couple of months. We are also seeing Philippine National Police cautions crypto users on risks of play to earn games. So the police are warning that the security of a game's underlying blockchain does not guarantee that its protocol or marketplace is secure. Obviously, these are games built on top of secure networks, and with that, we can't be 100% certain. Next, we are seeing that Helio Lending receives bond sentence due to misleading license claims. We have Ethereum futures ETFs potentially coming this year. As I said, some still positive things circulating around ETFs. But let's move on to the price of Bitcoin. That's all we all want to talk about today. That's all we all care about today. Let's take a look at this. Before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's take a look in the chat today. Yorkshire Pork said, anybody else get wrecked last night? We have to be incredibly careful at these points in time. The markets are so uncertain right now. I'm happy to say that I was not in a trade yesterday, thankfully, but unfortunately for those that were, we saw a huge amount of liquidations. In fact, if you take a look at this article here on Crypto Saving Experts, you can see $1.05 billion was liquidated as Bitcoin dropped to $25,000. It actually dropped significantly lower than this on multiple exchanges. This was a flash crash. If you take a look at our Instagram, you can see this post here. On OKX, $331 million was liquidated on that exchange. On Binance, we saw 218. On Deribit, we saw 272. A huge amount of long positions were liquidated yesterday for Bitcoin. Are we going to see more of this? Well, a lot of people have been liquidating right now. A lot of people will be taking a step back. It's been a very terrible 24 hours, to say the least. Before we continue with today's stream, we've only got 2 likes on today's stream. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button and help us with the channel as much as possible. We are here through the bad times of crypto. When Bitcoin is crashing, we are here talking about the latest cryptocurrency news. So why has Bitcoin crashed? That's what we need to discuss today. So first of all, why Bitcoin crashed to $25,000. Now, we all know by this point there has been an article by the Wall Street Journal posted yesterday, which was titled "A Rare Look into the Finances of Elon Musk's Secretive SpaceX." And within that article, we saw that it stated, the documents also show SpaceX wrote down the value of Bitcoin it owns by a total of $373 million last year and in 2021, and has sold the cryptocurrency cryptocurrency. Tesla has taken a similar approach with its Bitcoin holdings. Musk has posted about cryptocurrencies frequently over the years. So this is alleged by the Wall Street Journal that SpaceX have sold their Bitcoin. Is this true? Well, that's the question we're all asking now. So the news began to spread like wildfire as news outlets picked up the story. As such, Bitcoin continued its descent towards $25,000. Still, despite Wall Street Journal reports, others weren't so sure, with Watcher Guru tweeting, "We are unable to confirm," let's take a look at this tweet in person, in the flesh. "We are unable to confirm reports that SpaceX sold $373 million worth of Bitcoin. The report by Wall Street Journal is unclear and states SpaceX wrote down the value of Bitcoin." We've just read through this. "As of now, there is no other evidence to confirm the report." So we're all relying on the Wall Street Journal's reports right now. So it'd be interesting to see if this is true, if we can get some validation for this report, or if this is actually a false claim there. But we'll be waiting to see that now. I would like to say, if you take a look at the price of Bitcoin when Elon Musk was first buying Bitcoin through Tesla, or first allowed us to buy Teslas through Bitcoin, with Bitcoin as a means of payment, we saw movements in the price of Bitcoin. Now, obviously, that was in a bull market. That was when things were looking positive, when Elon was being positive about Bitcoin. And we were seeing Bitcoin move upwards every time we saw some positive news from him. And then we'd see a little bit of sideways action. And we'd typically see the price of Bitcoin return to the price it was prior to that news announcement. So we ended up seeing loads of Bart shapes. Now, if you don't know what the Bart shapes are on the price chart, it's when we see the chart look a bit like Bart Simpson's head, where it goes up, we see some sideways action, and then it goes back down to the price it was at before. That's what we saw in the bull market when the Elon was being positive. Now, I'm looking at this situation and saying, are we going to see something similar? Have we seen this move to the downside? Then are we going to see that choppy action and then move it back to where it was prior to this news? Or is there other problems going on? And now I'm looking at this, and you're looking a little bit deeper, and there is some news here that doesn't seem to be being spoken about in the cryptocurrency space, but is something we need to be concerned about. And that is what is going on with this Chinese property giant Evergrande, and they have filed for bankruptcy protection in Manhattan court. So let's talk through this article quickly, and then we'll go on to some other reasons as to why Bitcoin could be moving to the downside and what we should expect for the next couple of months. Obviously, at the end of today's stream, we will analyze the price of Bitcoin and go into a lot of detail there. So let's take a look at this. We also have some breaking news here. Dow futures fall 200 points as Wall Street braces for another down session. But let's see what's going on here. So China's heavily indebted property developer Evergrande Group on Thursday filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy protection in the US court. So in a filing to the Manhattan Bankruptcy Court, the firm sought recognition of restructuring talks underway in Hong Kong, the Cayman Islands, and the British Virgin Islands. So the world's most indebted property developer defaulted in 2021 and announced an offshore debt restructuring program in March. So should we be concerned about this? What does this mean? Now, obviously, if we take a look at this article, they have filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy. So this allows a US bankruptcy court to intervene in cross-border insolvency case involving foreign companies that are undergoing restructuring from creditors. It aims to protect the debtors' assets and facilitate the rescue of businesses that are in financial trouble. So this isn't bankruptcy. This doesn't, I mean, it is Chapter 15 bankruptcy. It doesn't mean it's just shutting down. That's the end. Everything's over. They are trying to restructure their businesses to try and save the business, essentially. So Evergrande's filing comes amid contagion fears that China's property sector troubles could spill over to other parts of the economy, which has already seen faltering growth. Most recently, Country Garden, which used to be one of China's largest developers, struggled to make coupon payments on US dollar-denominated bond and issued a profit warning. So the firm has also suspended trading in at least 10 of its mainland China traded yuan bonds, according to Reuters. China's massive real estate sector has long been a vital engine of growth for the world's second largest economy and accounts for as much as 30% of the country's gross domestic product. What we are seeing here is, despite recent policy signals, investor worries linger. And in late July, its top leaders indicated a shift towards greater support for the property sector, paving the way for local governments to implement specific policies. Now, is this the reason that Bitcoin is moving to the downside? Is this fear around one of the world's biggest property developing groups filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy spreading? Is it going to create contagion? Are we going to see a bigger problem here? Are we going to see a massive financial crisis? Well, I've pulled up this article here because there are 5 potential reasons as to why Bitcoin has crashed yesterday, and this is one of them. This is what I believe the main reason. So let's talk about this quickly. So what we have here is, let's find where we're going. We've got lots of reasons in this article here. So we've got whales selling big. It could be one of the reasons as to why Bitcoin dumped. As always, whales are have the potential to move the price of Bitcoin. We also have the Chinese yuan still a risk to Bitcoin. So while Teng disregarded the Evergrande crisis as a major reason for Bitcoin's price swing, they've claimed the risk of a Chinese yuan devaluation may have played a significant role in the sell-off. So what's happened is in August 2015, when China devalued the yuan for the last time, Bitcoin prices declined by 23% during the 2 weeks following the devaluation. Before a more meaningful rally started, Bitcoin finished the year 59% above from the level of the devaluation. So what they're saying is, if the Chinese yuan does continue to get devalued, then does that have a negative impact on the price of Bitcoin? Yes. And does this fear around Evergrande Group create some uncertainty? Yes. So let's take a look at this quickly. So do you think this is in fear of Evergrande and a domino? Let's take a look at this tweet here. Do you think this is in fear of Evergrande and a domino effect of what could be missing? And Alex says, no clear trigger, defo not Evergrande, TradFi barely moved on the news. But what do we think about this? Is this bigger news? Somebody's put in the chat today. Let's take a look at this. Selling due to Evergrande collapse, it's going back to 15k. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. I mean, I wouldn't like to see Bitcoin down at 15k right now, but anything is possible here. We are seeing some concerns spreading about all of these reasons above. We are also seeing, obviously, the fears of SpaceX offloading their Bitcoin. But we are unfortunately continuing to see the price of Bitcoin drop right now. So you can see here the price of Bitcoin is currently at 26,342 on the Binance exchange. It did go as low as 25,166. I believe if we go over to Bybit and take a look at Bybit, we're looking at a low of $24,400 there. So obviously, it's been a very volatile time on all of the exchanges. Let's take a look at the Binance chart and what we're seeing here. So we've had this level of support here on the channel for a while, this daily level of support, this one that we bounced from the start of the year, that we've bounced pretty harshly 3 times now. And we did break through that a couple of days ago. Now, I didn't expect to have as volatile of a reaction as we have seen right now, to be perfectly honest. What we've seen here is we broke that level of support and we've seen a massive dump. Now, right now, we have not actually broken that uptrend. We are still in an uptrend here. So what we can see is we have higher highs and we do still have higher lows right now. Now, if the price of Bitcoin drops below $24,750, that uptrend is broken. And that is when we can say maybe this is a relief rally and we are going to see some more downwards action and more downtrends within the next couple of months. Now, we all know that we have the Bitcoin halving, which has in history triggered a bull market. But what is going to happen in the 9 months before then? We are seeing more and more concerns in the traditional markets, which does impact the cryptocurrency market. And we are seeing more and more fears over what can happen next. Now, obviously, fears in the traditional market affect Bitcoin. They affect it in a positive and a negative way. Just because the traditional markets are going down doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going down. Some uncertainty in the traditional market sometimes makes the price of Bitcoin go up. But if we have a global financial crisis that some people are speculating on, it could be a very volatile and very choppy time for Bitcoin. So I'm being very cautious with that right now, not trying to over leverage myself, just trying to position myself perfectly for what's to come and be prepared for any scenario. As always, I'm always dollar cost averaging in and dollar cost averaging out at any time appropriate, so that I'm always ready for the next move and ready for what's to come. But it's not been an easy time to trade, to say the least. We've already seen on today's stream $1.05 billion of positions were liquidated as Bitcoin dropped to $25,000. So it's not been too much of a great 24 hours unless you're a shorter. If you're a Bitcoin shorter and you're still around after that nice rally at the start of the year, you've got some persistence. Come on, I'm still long-term bullish on Bitcoin. I don't think that's ever going to change. We know that BlackRock are getting into it, Fidelity are getting into it, or at least attempting to by filing for spot Bitcoin ETFs. I think in the long term, I'm still very, very excited about the asset. It's just looking like it could be a turbulent time. Now, I know I've been advocating for some sideways action in the next 9 months, and that is still a possibility. But if we see more concerns like this around let's pull this up, around Evergrande Group and other big concerns like that, that's the one exception to the rule. So if we don't see any black swan events, if we don't see any unexpected things that occur like this, if we see just a quiet traditional market, I'm expecting Bitcoin to just go sideways for the next couple of months. However, if we see some massive financial issues all around the world, which some people are expecting, then obviously we may see some volatility and we may see an exception to that rule, and we may not see that sideways action. But we've all been begging for volatility, and now we've got it, so we can't complain too much. That's what's happening in the markets right now. I think we should shut off today's stream. It's not been a nice 24 hours. We're all a bit tired, but we will be back here on Monday, hopefully with higher spirits, hopefully with some sort of bounce for Bitcoin, please. Everyone have your fingers crossed. But that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back here tomorrow with another live stream, so I will see you then. Please don't forget, no, not tomorrow, on Monday. And also, please don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, to help us with the algorithm, and we are posting some very exciting things very soon. That is all we have for today.